And we're live. Hey guys, this is Ruben from Dubb, and I'm here with Julian. And we just had a really intense conversation about marketing automation and about engagement and just really smarter funnels, smarter marketing funnels. So Julian has some tremendous ideas that are really going to help sort of optimize his funnel across, I think, two specific automation systems, Pipedrive, HubSpot. But really, I think this conversation is high level in nature, and it's just a different mindset. It's a mindset of automation. It's a mindset of just being a little bit more intelligent about these video funnels that we're creating. So Julian, I'd love to get your take on what you're doing currently and then what you'd love to be doing a little bit differently.
Hi, thanks, Ruben.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I love the product. You've done an incredible job. The team is just spot on when it comes to really changing the way we integrate and initiate conversations with the men and women that we care about and the businesses we serve. I run an organization called KADA, which is KAADA, and we started out as a meet in person group, and as life has changed, we quickly pivoted to become more of a online group with the plans in the future to go back to real live mastermind at scale. But right now we're meeting throughout the week online, and we were using Dubb to both advertise what we're doing as well as create really timely messages about what just happened whenever we have our events. So
And you guys,
pretty
so
impressed.
that's such an interesting
Yeah.
use case because you went from a physical business where you're meeting in person, and then you realize very quickly that you need to go to a synchronous situation. So you use something like Zoom, I think, and that you need to sell your tickets digitally. I'm sure you've been doing that this whole time. But then you need a asynchronous, pre-recorded platform to be able to get the messaging out and drive the marketing. And I said that in exact reverse order, but that's awesome.
Yeah, we found ourselves with a market change, right? We had this entire expansion city by city, and the good news is that this was coming. We'd already been working on the Kata Connect, a separate entity, but this just forced our hand and made us become much faster and much more agile in our development. So it makes the messaging we're doing now, video, much more important. And that's why I think the platform you guys have got is incredibly important part of our toolkit going forward.
Nice. And then you mentioned a couple of very specific things. So the first thing I think we talked about was this idea of a video view that's driving intelligence throughout your marketing automation. So that's a life cycle stage, the creation of a deal, creation of an opportunity. It's something that happens where you basically say, look, this person raised their hand, and we need to mark them, we need to star them, we need to flag them so that we can make better, smarter, more personalized kind of bottom of funnel activities. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So if you imagine, and so I guess I'm a lazy guy by nature, and
marketing automation people usually are.
I know, right?
And I can say that because I am one.
Right. Dad was like, "You're lazy." I go, "No, I'm a marketing guy." So he's, "Oh, okay, I got it." No, so I use Fiverr on the weekend. So I have a team, I have a small group of people who do research on clients for me over the weekend, and they provide me insights to what to do on Monday. But then we're using automation, outbound email or outbound messages via email and via LinkedIn to explain to people what we're working on, and being able to track that into a top of funnel activity is extremely important for us. And knowing that John has watched the video and he knows at least that when he sees this big bald guy on the screen, he knows what I'm talking about. So when I reach out to him with a quick email the next day, it's somewhat warm. It's not cold for sure. It's not a hot lead, but it's certainly, he knows what I'm going to be calling about. And I'm much more apt to get someone to answer my email or my phone call or a text or another Dubb video if they know who I am.
Yeah.
What our message is.
Nice. And then so you mentioned specifically, so I think one of the things that we've been talking about is this idea of a life cycle stage. And then just to give a little bit of context on what life cycle stage is, this is basically just where people are in the funnel. And what I'll do is, just to make this kind of simple, I'll use I think HubSpot has adopted this, and a couple other CRMs or automation systems have adopted this, where it's basically top of funnel is a lead, and then it goes to an MQL, so marketing qualified lead, and then it goes to an SQL, sales qualified lead, and then it goes to an opportunity, which means now we're in the deal stage. There's maybe a number a potential
Correct.
of close. And then at that point, it goes to closed won or closed lost. And then after that, there's an other in there for some random other reason. But that's essentially the kind of some baseline lifecycle stage nomenclature that we can kind of abide by. Every system and every individual, every team has a slightly different take on that. Sometimes they're leads, sometimes they're contacts, sometimes they're hand raises. There's all sorts of different things. Is there a world where Dubb has lifecycle stage at the contact level? Maybe there is. One of my concerns centered around that is what's the variance in that across the ecosystem, the marketing automation ecosystem, and that if we start to have, one with some customizations, is that going to be able to sync up with other ones through Zapier or through kind of native syncs? It's really a question. I don't know. But definitely what we can do now is we can use tags. And we can have those tags generate and drive certain things through Zapier, through native integrations to actually create, in HubSpot's case, smart lists, which can change lifecycle stage. And then in Pipedrive, to specifically take that tag and then update the contact level of what that lifecycle stage is. So there's definitely some things that we can do right now. One of the things that will kind of promise to do is to go back into our automated workflows. And I'm just going to do just based on this conversation and based on some of the things that I've learned and specifically almost selfishly what some of our needs are as a company, Dubb, because we use Dubb as our platform. It's our CRM, it's our automation platform. We started out using a whole stack and then we said, this is too much tech. And we just, we kept it lean and just went to Dubb, our own stuff. So it really helps us to iterate the product, but then also to just get some value out of it. So anyways, I will go back to the platform and I'm going to promise to kind of see what we can do with video watch, call to action engagement rates that drive tags so that through, in this case, Zapier, we can make smarter, better choices.
That's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
And
nice. We'll do that.
You'll do it.
Nice.
Right. Yeah.
And I was going to say the other thing that I wanted to kind of mention from your side is this idea of Eventbrite. So you right now, as I understand it, is it all right if I share your landing page?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show a really interesting and really thought out. This is kind of a perfect landing page here because there's actually two that I really, really enjoy, and I think that these are hitting all the checks of what a good video landing page should look like. And I will present that. So, here we have my screen. So we've got the autoplay feature on with sound on, which is really interesting. The rules on that are always changing. So anyways, here we have Dubb. This is a Dubb landing page. And then this is embedding a YouTube video with the YouTube integration, which is awesome. And then you're using the playlist feature. So this here is a moderately produced personalized video. It's an evergreen personalized video. So it starts out with a little bit of text, but then it goes into this really nice, really authentic person to person. I mean, I felt like when I was watching that this was made for me. And then past that, it goes to a playlist option here. And that's an evergreen commercial that you produced. Amazing. I love to see this. This is such good practices here. We've got all sorts of personalization here, ways to contact you. And then we've got sign up and then we've got book a time. So book a time, we've got the calendar integration here. I can see you have a paid one, which is cool. Shout out to you for investing in yourself. That's really, really key. There's some great integrations that we have. And then of course the sign up button. And this goes to an Eventbrite page. So that was my perspective on this. I would love to understand, and I want to also be respectful of time here. So just let me know what time looks like. But could you kind of just explain what problems you're looking to solve with this little video funnel that you've created here?
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't make contact with our clients until our community members until they actually RSVP to an event. So we use the Eventbrite as our landing, kind of our top of funnel for actually getting information about them. So Eventbrite has a great integration with Zapier, so I can get who they are, email address, the location that they're coming from, Any kind of other information I've collected on the front page, I can actually put a form that's dynamic on the front page of that registration, and then I collect that information, and that becomes my first basically marketing qualified lead. So they become someone who's going to come. They say they're going to show up to an event. Now it's a little easier because everyone's at home, so there's no traffic issues. They're all making it to the meetings. But once they attend a meeting, they RSVP. So we check them in technically with the Eventbrite app, and then that becomes another event that Zapier collects of them. And then I move them in the stage from MQL to SQL, because after they've said I want to be involved, and then I show up and I spend an hour and a half with your team, they're now no longer just a marketing qualified lead, they're now a sales qualified lead. So I think that I have an opportunity to sell to them. So what I would love to be able to do, and this is the conversation we were having earlier, Ruben, is that in the video is being able to move them in certain areas. This is great to go to Eventbrite, but I would like to be able to have that same kind of flexibility inside the Dubb platform to move them. So I might not even have to make them, they may not have to RSVP to the Eventbrite to become a marketing qualified lead. I just know if I watch the full video, then I know that they're most likely going to be more interested in the conversation from my team. So that's how we're using it.
That makes total sense. So it's basically, I think what we're really talking about here is video engagement to drive automation or to drive better sales activities or tasks. I think that's what we're talking about here. Absolutely. And that's just a smarter way to do it. I love what you said in our previous conversation where when someone watches a video that puts them in a different club, so to speak. They've already heard you. They've heard your elevator pitch. At this point, they've raised their hand. They've decided to click a button and move forward. So, let's work together on how we can solve this problem within your funnel. And it's going to require some experimenting on your side. We're going to test some things on our side. What other sort of ideas besides video watch rate and call to action do you think are relevant for this type of engagement-based automation? If you don't have to answer that now, if there's any other ideas for folks that are listening, yeah, please.
So on your contact, you've got a pretty standard contact data model.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to have a custom piece of information that I could. So for instance, a lot of the people I reach out to are people that I've already had either a meeting with, I've met them somehow, and this is kind of a next step. So it's like a way to both let them know in the email that I remember what they talked about. So being able to have a way to attach a custom piece of information that I can then reuse in the email process. So I love how you can actually put the John Smith or Bill Rogers on the top of the video, but I can't really integrate into the conversation custom field. So for instance, if you allow me to write a sentence that says, "It was so great meeting you at the XYZ," and then the next part is all standard, then I could spend the time putting a sentence together for all of my 100 people. That takes me 15, 20 minutes to do 100 sentences, or I just do them as I go along. And then when I send the email out, it says, "Hey, I'm using the awesome app to show, hey, it's Julian Caldwell calling for you, or you sending a video." And then the email itself has something personal as well that says, well, this is not just a normal standard email. This is Julian is actually making a connection that we already had this conversation, and he asked about my kids who are in homeschool with me, or the 16 chickens we've got, or whatever it is we're talking about.
I'm sorry, did you just say you have 16 chickens?
Yeah, my wife went all prepper on me about a week ago. So we already had 5; they were pets, but now it's full on. I'm gonna be like the egg mafia in Omaha, Nebraska. It's gonna be great. I got the market covered, dude.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of chickens, here's an egg for you. We've got custom fields coming on Dubb platform. Here's the list right now. I'd love to get your feedback. So text input, paragraph input, radio button, drop down, and multi-select. So these are going to be fields that people can add to the contact level. And the reason why these are going to be valuable, A, is for personalization. That was not the initial reason of adding these. That's kind of a secondary reason, which I think is totally relevant. But then B, it would be for the forms, for Dubb native forms, which are now live. And that's a whole thing that we're going to be announcing. And that's a video for another conversation. But anyways, I listen, I wanted to applaud you for really, first of all, investing in yourself. And thank you so much for being a Dubb subscriber. We really appreciate it. Thank you for evangelizing us, and really appreciate the testimonial and the positive things. And then also just working with us to kind of navigate and to evolve the platform based on your specific needs, because if you have needs, then other people do. So, I will here promise on recorded video, I'll promise to go and continue to iterate workflows.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear.
Have you pinky swear? Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for the feedback.
You bet.
Yeah. And, if you're not already a member of the affiliate network for Dubb, please go to earn.dubb.com and encourage people to spread the word. So thank you so much, Julian. I really appreciate you.
You bet.
All right.
Thanks, Ruben.
Bye-bye.